Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon, so you never miss any new updates, cause whenever we upload new video you will get a notification on your phone.
Here now, the aforementioned Ben Shapiro, editor-in-chief of the Daily Wire, who wrote today's 5 reasons why Oprah would win and 5 reasons why she could lose. Ben, good evening. Good to see you as always. We thought that a matchup between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump was going to be fascinating, and indeed it was. But this could be a whole new level.
No question. I mean, Oprah Winfrey is the most well-known person probably on planet Earth outside of President Trump. So you'd have two of the most high-profile people in American history battling it out. She obviously is another self-made billionaire. She has cultivated particularly female audiences for the last 30 years. She's a television star. She has a really great personal story. On the other hand, she is a conspiracy theorist. She is on the far left. And her image as sort of uniter, not a divider, would certainly take a hit were she to get political. It's one thing for President Trump, who basically has been hit with every piece of mud and emerged unscathed, to run for re-election. Oprah Winfrey is basically seen as this almost angelic figure in American pop culture. And if she is hit at all with any sort of scandal, it may not affect her quite the same way. If you want to move from a place where 90% of people love you to a place where 50% of people hate you, quickly move into politics.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump has certainly witnessed that himself during his transformation from being a private citizen to being president of the United States. Do you think, when you look at America as a society, are we living in a world where you almost have to be a celebrity? You look at all the people who've thrown their names in the ring. Mark Cuban, Kanye West has talked about it. The Rock has talked about it. And, you start to wonder if you're living in this sort of, freakish parallel universe lately.
I think there's some truth to that. I think the idea that high name recognition makes a difference, particularly in primaries, is absolutely true. Can you imagine Oprah Winfrey losing primaries to Joe Biden? I can't. I think that if Oprah Winfrey runs against a bunch of typical Democratic politicians, they have a very hard time knocking her out of the race. Obviously, the Republicans couldn't knock Donald Trump out of the race, and he was less of a celebrity than Oprah Winfrey is. I think it's because Americans have this sort of dual-track mind when it comes to what they think the president does. On the one hand, we think that the president is there to do policy and engage in policy we like. And then there's really what we think the president does, which is say stuff. Right? When we think of people who say stuff, we tend to think of celebrities. We tend to think of the people who are on our TVs all the time. We think of these people as sort of the figureheads on the prow of the ship of state. And in that sense, if there are people who are very famous and we've already made our decisions about them, it's a lot easier for them to survive the slings and arrows than politicians who we may not have ever heard of and who can be taken down with a single scandal. Remember, in 2012, Rick Perry was basically knocked out of the primaries because he had mandated that Gardasil be used, right, a vaccine for a particular type of cancer for young girls. That knocked him out of the primaries in 2012. Donald Trump got hit with everything, including the kitchen sink, and he won the election.
It's unreal. When you take a look at this potential matchup, you've got Oprah Winfrey, who I think would be so embraced by Democrats that she probably wouldn't be standing up there with 17 other candidates. I mean, when Donald Trump tried it, everyone just laughed at him. They thought he was not going to last, wouldn't make it through the summer, wouldn't make it through the fall. I mean, that's the very different dynamic here, Ben.
I think that's true. And I think Democrats also have a way of anointing candidates that Republicans simply have not had. In 2016, obviously, they anointed Hillary Clinton. In 2012, they thought about, in 2008, rather, they thought about anointing Hillary Clinton. And then Oprah Winfrey is the person who helped push Barack Obama over that finish line. So I think the chances are actually pretty good that if Oprah decided to run, she'd win the nomination. In a general election, I do have my doubts as to whether she would actually defeat the president. The last poll that I saw was from March, and it showed Oprah defeating Trump something like 47-40. But those aren't incredible numbers for Oprah. She has, I think, 49% approval versus 33% disapproval. Wait till she actually has to go through a political cycle or two and see how those numbers hold up.
I got to let you go, but one last thing. You sort of went out on a limb today. You said you don't think she was that brave. Everybody on that room was up on their feet. And you said she wasn't brave last night. What did you mean?
I mean, what the hell kind of risk was she taking? She was standing in front of an entire town filled with sexual abusers and harassers. She said nothing about it for 20 years. She was being cheered by people who said nothing about it for 20 years. And there she is, pretending that she's leading the fight. In what way has she led the fight? I sort of missed it. And just because she said some stuff last night, I haven't seen how things have materially changed. I mean, Reese Witherspoon was mentioned that she measures things before Oprah and after Oprah. What changed after Oprah? Oprah said a bunch of stuff. Well, I was under the impression that most of us agreed with that stuff when this stuff first broke, and she lauded the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Where were they reporting on the sexual harassment and abuse scandal for the last 20 years? It is literally their job to cover Hollywood, and yet it took the New Yorker and Ronan Farrow to uncover all this stuff. Where was the Hollywood Foreign Press Association that was receiving such plaudits at the hands of Oprah Winfrey? Again, a woman who is good friends with Harvey Weinstein, being cheered by Meryl Streep, a woman who's gave a standing ovation to Roman Polanski.
Yeah, but there's a circle of support that ignored everything that you just mentioned so potently. Ben, thank you very much. Great to see you tonight.
Thanks a lot.